Hey you guys, it's Scarlett and I am fired up about today's video because we're going to be comparing the 70-20-10 and the 50-30-20 budgeting rules. What are money rules? So money budgeting rules, they're kind of called different things. Money allocation rules, budgeting rules, whatever you want to consider it. They are essentially ways to categorize your budget so that you know you're not going to be overspending on things that you shouldn't be spending money on. Now you'll hear me say this a few times, but it's really important to recognize you don't have to use budgeting allocation rules in order to have a budget, okay? So not just that, but budgeting rules are really just a good guide. It's really helpful for people who are beginners or really wanting to know that they're doing their budget right. The 70-20-10 is honestly a budgeting rule that I tried and it's a little less popular because the most popular one is the 50-30-20. We're gonna go ahead and actually go over the 70-20-10 first and then go through the 50-20-30. Okay, so when we're talking about the different numbers of 70-20-10, these are essentially percentages, right? When you add them up, it equals to 100%. So when you're spending money, whether it be on your mortgage, on food, on miscellaneous fun items, it all gets spent somehow. So the point is to kind of allocate these different expenses so that you know you're spending it on things that they need to be spent on. Now first, the 70% goes toward your normal expenses, expenses that are required essentially. This could include your mortgage, your car payments. This can include things like daycare. The 20% would then be your debt and savings. So with this, it could be something like your student loan payoff. It could be your credit card. This could be your payments that you put towards your sinking funds and towards your emergency funds. This portion is a lot smaller than 70%, but it is also a very important section as well. Lastly, and the reason why this is unique to the 50-30-20 is that the 10% would then go toward investments. Okay, so this could be your 401k, your 403b. This could be towards stocks, bonds, again, whatever it be, your investments would then be 10%. Now I'm gonna go ahead and go into what the different allocations for the 50-30-20 are, and then we'll kind of do the pros and cons and talk a little bit about the difference between the two. So the way that the 50-30-20 budgeting rule allocations are categorized is a little bit different. In regard to the 50, this is in regard to your needs. So similar to the 70% where I said it was just pretty much all of your expenses, the 50% for this one is all just about the things that you must spend on no matter what. So this would again include housing, car payment, health insurance, utilities, for example. This one is the payments that you must pay every month. So the 30% is for our wants. So we all want to spend money on certain things, whether it be to go spend money on clothing or if it to be spend money every Friday going out with friends. Now the remaining 20% is for savings. So this also kind of includes investments as well. We're talking about your emergency funds, your investment accounts, 401ks, your Roth IRAs, etc. That's how the 50-30-10 is categorized. It's in regard to those wants and the needs and the savings. Now the biggest question is which one's better? If you're a beginner, the 50-30-20 is honestly one of the easiest ways to just think about a expense. If you go and you really don't want to make dinner tonight, so you go drive over to the McDonald's and grab a hamburger. Is that a want? Is that a need? Honestly, you might think it's a need because it's food, and food potentially is within your need category, right? You need food to survive. But did you really need to spend that money? Honestly, it probably goes into your want category. So when you think about it, you may just easily be able to think, did I want it? Did I need it? Or is it something that I'm putting money away for the future? If you're someone who has kind of tried the 50-30-20 and you want to try a different type of allocation, the 70-20-10 is a really good example. Like I said, I have personally used it. What it essentially requires you to do is to set aside money, right? 20% of all your expenses should be in your savings or into your debt payoff. And then a whole other 10% is for your investments. That again is how these two differ, because in regard to your savings in the 50-30-20, you have to put that 20% into your savings, your retirement, your investing, and all that, compared to getting that kind of extra 10% from the 70-20-10 in order to put money aside for the future. Which one do I use? Honestly, I don't use either right now. I have tried both and both were great for a period of time, but right now I don't use either budget allocation. And in fact, I don't use any budget allocation. I have been budgeting for so long now that I really just have a great understanding as to what I must spend, what I need to spend on, what I want to spend on. As you get experience with these different budget allocations, you'll really get a better understanding as to what type of expenses come into your life, how much money that you really do bring in, and you'll really get a better understanding over a handful of months or years of budgeting. If you like this video, go ahead and check out my budgeting playlist. On that playlist, you're going to learn how to create a budget. You're going to get free budget downloadables and printables, and it is a really awesome resource for anyone who is new to budgeting. So go check that out right now. Thanks for watching.